Hello, my darlings. There is a storm raging outside. It's cold, it's wet, it's December. I thought today we would do a top 10 horror books, and in no particular order, I'm going to give you top 10 that I enjoy. So, yeah. Starting off, number 10, Phantoms. Lisa and Jenny live in the Californian ski resort of Snowfield. Things go bump in the night and disappear and reappear, and bells ring and severed hands holding rolling pins in the bakery, where policemen scream and phantoms are seen. Yes, quite the scary tale. Who is haunting Snowfield? Where have the residents gone? My goodness me, they were here a minute ago. Why does the bell keep ringing in the church? And what's with the flashing lights? And the slithery, sliding, eel-like creature that stalks them, but they can't see it, but they know it's there. Sometimes they feel it, and sometimes people disappear. If you're looking for something very atmospheric and completely different, may I recommend Phantoms? You'll enjoy that one. Cats. Coming in at number 9, Nick Sharman. I did this one for Halloween. Oh my goodness me. We go from pussy galore to pussy no more. The kitty cats in this delightful tale are all right until they get to a certain temperature. And then it's like a light switch has been flicked. They suddenly turn into a hunting, killing machine. There is a young gentleman within this novel. His name, I will find it for you. I used to know. I've read this book not recently. John Inglis. Yeah, John Inglis. What on God's green earth did you think doing genetically modified, heat temperature changing, vicious, human eating cats would be a good idea? John did. It was okay until we had a rip-roaring afternoon where the temperature went up, up, up. And the pussycatums went a bit mad, a bit crazy, and took on London. Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me indeed. Quite the scary novel. Look out for the dog scene. That poor Doberman. And the drug addicts, yeah, on LSD that thought they were petting the cat. Oh, my. Yes, indeed. And the more fateful scene of the street in London where people are running away and being mauled to death. Oh, my dearie me. It was a hot, humid day in London. In a basement flat, a young boy was involved in strange experiments. There was a sudden power failure. Within a few short hours, the city will become a horrifying cauldron of fear. The carnage, the police, the army, the scientists. No one seems to be able to stop the cats. I have done this. If you want to see the review, you'll have to go to my Halloween special. Number 8, The Deadly Messiah. Ooh, like this one. This It's quite the most interesting book in the world. It's so different. I have never read a book quite like this in my life, and I don't think I ever will again. We go back to the 1970s and the seedy side of New York, and we are tracking and following a serial killer who, how shall I put it, through mysticism, star signs, aligning planets, and electrical currents, can kill at will. The common cold becomes a killer. Toothache, your teeth rotting in your head as you die. Oh my, my. Acne? You wouldn't think acne would kill you. Oh yes, it does. Makes you look like a leper. It was a fine June day when Bensonville, Kentucky died when the sun set. The town was ravaged, devastated by a mysterious epidemic of terrifying proportions. A week later, disaster strikes again, and then again. As the country hovers on the brink of a national panic, the president appoints his specialist assistant to head a team of experts, including an astrologer, detective, to solve the impossible death riddle. Only one thing is certain. When the full moon exactly squares Saturn and Mars in rising opposition to Uranus, 80 million people are going to die. Can the deadly Messiah be stopped in time? I did a book review for this. Please check it out. H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. Ooh la! Yeah, the aliens are on the way. For a time, I believed that mankind had been swept out of existence, and that I stood there alone, the last man left alive. When a strange meteor-like object lands in the heart of England, the inhabitants of Earth find themselves victim of a terrible attack. A ruthless race of Martians, armed with heat rays and poisonous smoke, is intent on destroying everything that stands in its way. As the unnamed hero struggles to find his way across the decimated wastelands, the fate of the planet hangs in the balance. H.G. Wells was a pioneer of modern science fiction, first serialized in the UK in 1897. The War of the Worlds is one of the earliest stories to depict conflict with an extraterrestrial race and has influenced countless adaptations and sequels. I've done a review on this, my darlings. Look it up. But classic, absolute classic. I mean, you can't, 1897, and you're getting this. It's pretty special. Coming in at number 6. War of the Worlds by Max Brooks. This will be a classic one day, I guarantee you that. Written in a diary formation, we follow a UN worker, our classic narrator. In the film, his name is Jerry. The film, it's okay, but I wish, dear Lord, they had stayed true to the novel. This is way better than the film, although the film's not too shabby. 175,000 copies. Yep. That's today. I don't know. There may have been more. Now a major motion picture. As a horror story, it's exciting. As a parable, it's terrifying. Max Brooks really is the godfather of all zombie stories. It's apocalypse now, pandemic style. Yeah. George Romero will always be the grandfather of zombies. Of course he will. However, Max Brooks, he put into writing what George Romero put into his films, and you are left with a fantastic novelisation of the end of the world zombie style. It began with rumours from China about another pandemic. Then the cases started to multiply, and what had looked like the stirrings of a criminal underclass, even the beginnings of a revolution, soon revealed itself to be much, much worse. Faced with the future of mindless man-eating horror, humanity was forced to accept the logic of world government and face events that tested our sanity and our sense of reality. There we go. You'll enjoy that one, my darlings. This is a classic. Red Dragon by Thomas Harris. A lot of people tend to go for The Silence of the Lambs, being a Thomas Harris, but I actually prefer Red Dragon. Thomas Dollarhide. I think, yeah, I've got his name right. No, Thomas Dollarhide. It's Thomas Harris, and his character, his main character in here is, I think it's Francis Dollarhide. Yeah, Francis Dollarhide is the Red Dragon. And oh my goodness me, what he does to families is beyond the pale. And there is a rather gruesome death scene within this novel, not just counting the families, but it's the journalist who's following him, and Francis Dollarhide makes an example of him, and it is so brutal. It is unreal. Yes, Thomas Harris, and he wrote this one back in the day, 1982. Good grief. And this is from 1992, so it's 10 years later. But 1982 was when Red Dragon first hit, and it's well worth your time. It really is. He's deranged, is Francis Dollarhide. They call him the Tooth Fairy because he bites his victims. That's how they know he's a serial killer. But oh, the cat and mouse chase and the ending. It's not what you think. Where does Hannibal Lecter feature in this? Well, he's already behind bars. But yes, he's helping Will Graham, our detective, find Francis Dollarhide, the Tooth Fairy. Enjoy. The psychopath is at large, a monster in the grip of some unimaginable delusion, compounded of sexual hunger, demonic violence, and sinister logic. A boastful killer who sends the police teasing notes signed the Red Dragon. So they call in Special Agent Will Graham, the one man with the gift to get into the monster's mind, the one man who can imagine what a madman feels and can anticipate his next act. Enjoy. I love this one. The Cabbage Patch Kids from Hell. Spawn. Yes, a Sean Hudson absolute classic. First edition. Yeah, that's what this one is. From the cradle to the grave came Spawn. We are dealing with a poor little boy called Harold Pierce. He's been released from a mental institution. I've done a book review on this as well. Although Harold is mentally addled, when you understand his childhood, oh my, you gotta have a little bit of sympathy for this guy. The Cabbage Patch Kids from hell, the unborn. Ooh, interesting. Check out my review. I've done one in great detail. Yes. Harold Pierce is released from a mental hospital where he has spent all of his adult life. His new job as a hospital porter involves him in the burning of aborted fetuses, an act which brings back nightmare memories of the death by fire of his baby brother Gordon. The trauma is such that the deranged but gentle Harold begins to neglect his duties. Harold, Harold, naughty boy, shouldn't play with adult toys. If mutant bears are your thing, may I recommend Prophecy? Yes, the story of an unrelenting terror. Your death is about to be born. Indeed it is. Always wondered what mercury might do to an unborn fetus, whether it be an animal or human. Unfortunately, these poor souls in America are about to find out. A giant mutant killer bear. Everything's mutant in Maine. Maggie. She gonna go mad when she finds out that she's been had. Oh, dearie me. And poor Rob. He didn't want children anyway. But now, well, what is he going to get? Maggie joined her husband Rob on a research mission to the forested wilderness of northern Maine. Instead of finding a land of beauty and peace, they found themselves caught in a nightmare, one that Maggie knew would never end, and it never will. Yes. Now in a remote area of America's forests and lakes, biological changes are beginning to occur. The forest Indians are sick, their minds confused. Children and animals are born deformed. And a family of campers have been found mutilated by some indescribable brutal force. Do you think it might be that mutant bear? I've done a review on this too. Enjoy. If you like mutant bears, if you like things that go bump in the night, and you like your animals supersized and super mutated, this one's for you. A spin on a vampire. Yes, I like vampires. I like them to be intelligent vampires. I love I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. Done a review on this as well. I Am Legend. Yes, it is beautiful. Robert Neville, the last man alive on Earth. By day he hunts the undead and kills them with a stake through the heart. Garlic, mirrors, crucifixes, holy water. The only thing that can stop them from eating him alive. Poor Robert. His quest to find a cure for the plague that has hit mankind. Oh, poor man. Anyway, done a review on this as well, so you'll enjoy it. Robert Neville is the last man left alive on Earth. But he is not alone. Every other man, woman and child on the planet has become a vampire. Neville spends his days scavenging for food and supplies and hunting down the undead in their lairs, in the ruins of civilization. At night, he becomes the hunted and barricades himself in his home, waiting and praying for the dawn. I Am Legend was one of the first and certainly the most brilliant fusions of horror and science fiction. Its powerful and disturbing reworking of the vampire myth has made it a classic, an enduring novel that has profound impact on a generation of writers. Check out my review. The one that started it all off for me. I was into Enid Blyton in a big way. The famous five was what I enjoyed. When I was struggling to read, I would try to work out what it was that they were saying. Well, you know my tale, because I wrote about, well, I did you a video for you about how I learned to read, because I have dyslexia and I have dyscalculia. No, they've never stopped me. And when I finally learned to read, thanks to Mrs. Maudsley in my teen years, I finished reading Enid Blyton, although I did dip back and read her. But my love affair with James Herbert began. The Rats. Yes, I've gone from Timmy the dog to Ratty Roo is gonna eat you. The very first book I ever reviewed for my channel, back on the 1st of December last year. And it's incredibly special to me, is The Rats. It started everything. I understood the thrill of being able to read this book. It is beyond gruesome. It is London is under attack. The rats are coming from everywhere. Can they be stopped in time? Who knows? Have to read the book to find out. But I have reviewed this many times. I adore the rats. James, I will always love James. When I learned to read properly, boy oh boy was I at the races. I adored this book so much. I mean, rats eating humans, giant black rats attacking a school, eating a baby, chewing the dog, attacking old ladies, attacking art students. There isn't anyone that doesn't have a munch and a crunch. It's been made into countless videos, films that turn into videos, audiobooks. People have imitated but never bested this guy. He's just so good. And he was taken way too soon. But my goodness me, am I so glad he wrote this book. London is struck by an invasion. Women, children, old and young, none are safe from the deadly menace. The attacks are swift and sure. Escape is impossible. A state of emergency is declared. Evacuation seems the only solution in the face of growing panic and mounting death toll. War is declared on the public. Enemy number one, the rats. Yep, 60p. This was 60p back in the day. And this edition is a first New English Library paperback edition, November 1974. And this edition in my hand is 1976, July. And it was only a couple of months old when this came out. I was born in April of 1976. So yeah, where it all began, where it all started off, Ratty Roo is after you. Absolutely adore this. Yes, the art teacher that chases round and goes to great lengths to try and stop the Rattus Roo. Oh, juicy, glorious, gorgeous. The train, yeah, the underground attack from the rats. Oh, don't forget the cinema, everybody. Yeah, that's gloriously gory. Anyway, I hope you like my top 10 that I've given you. Bit different. Yeah, but why not? Delve into something that you wouldn't necessarily read, because you never know, you might like it. Yeah. Anyway, my darlings, thank you very much for listening to me go on about my top 10 and my joy of joys, James Herbert. Yes, just because I have dyslexia, just because I have dyscalculia, it never stopped me from learning to read. And oh boy, am I glad I did, because reading, it is in my soul. I love books. It's my way of escaping from the world that we live in. And I think that's a wonderful gift to have. Right, my darlings, enjoy, read, get on with it. Let me know what you think of my collection. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Before I go, happy readings and enjoy. And if you like what I do, give me a thumbs up. If you really like what I do, you can always give me a follow, because I'm always talking about books. Oh, my cat Monty. Yeah, we have lots of. Take care. Bye-bye.